Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. In the times of Corona, I have been offline for a long time. Lots been happening here at this end. Anyway, I hope you and yours are well. Our community has lost, I found out today, I haven't been online much, just kind of trying to go within and learn and prepare stuff for the monthly membership program we're going to be launching. But I learned this morning that 7 of the elders in our community, many of them great Hasidim, and well, they're all Hasidim, I'm not judging the greatness, but many of them wonderful mentors and teachers have passed away. So although this talking walk is generally done in honor of my father and my friend Bashalay's mom, I want to add all of those people to today's talk. It's my first time out in about 3 weeks, so I felt it was essential for mental health rather than working out at home. I put together a mini course with my friend and supervisor Vivian Eskin on dealing with anxiety and stress and crisis, because I think that many of the things that we're dealing with now are there in a lesser way at other times, and so we've put it together. I'm almost done editing and we'll put that up with another video of mine on Corona in particular, some Torah thoughts on Corona, and then there'll be a live webinar available. But I wanted today to address something that I brought up in that webinar and explore it a little bit more in depth, and that is dealing with shadow feelings, particularly with anger. You know, many of us feel that we have to avert our mind to those feelings, and in some way that is absolutely true. It is true that where we settle our consciousness, that's what grows. You know, your mind is like light or like water, and if you put water and light onto a plant, that's what you're going to grow. So there's definitely validity to this notion of averting one's consciousness. And in Torah language, that is called lahasiach et hadat, to remove, to take away your focus from something negative. Yesterday on the free Tanya call, I invite you all to join. We're doing the Joy Ride at the moment, chapters 26 through 34 of Tanya, speaking about how to attain joy. On that call yesterday, I was speaking about this idea of setting an appointment with regret. During the day, we have to remove our consciousness, serve God with joy, focus on what's life affirming, and celebrate the opportunity that we have to partner with our Creator in making this world a dwelling place for God. So there is that notion of averting our mind and then making an appointment with regret. On the call, I spoke about the daily, weekly, monthly, and annual times that are most appropriate for that. And what I was trying to communicate is this idea that when we intentionally, mindfully enter into regret or melancholy, then we're the master of the situation. You know, I read a number of years ago a teaching of the Rebbe where he brings the debate in the Talmud. If you forgot to search for your chometz, your leavened bread, before Passover, before Pesach, do you do it on Pesach? And the answer is yes. And he asks, well, how could you do that? You're not supposed to encounter that on Pesach, and here you actually have to go and look for it on Passover. And the answer that he gives is that when you're doing it because you've been told to from above, The intention is divine, the intention is holy, and that protects us from even looking for leavened foodstuffs on Passover. So I think that that's the idea of setting an appointment with regret. But what it doesn't communicate is denial or ignoring those feelings. We have to pay attention lovingly, compassionately to our own shadow feelings. And maybe I'll do another talk tomorrow on actually how to do that, how to follow the levels down and find out, because as I always say, anger is a secondary emotion. It's never there first. There's always something else before. Maybe loneliness, abandonment, betrayal, fear, and then you follow that down and follow that down. That's something I discuss at length in, I think it's called Creation, the creation module on the method. Hesach hadas, to remove one's consciousness, doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to my anger. Anger is a very important feeling, and as I've said on previous walks and other places, we tend to give a bad rap to judgment. I'm not being judgmental, and to anger. Well, certainly the Talmud teaches us anger is synonymous with idolatry, because it's kind of attachment to my way. I want things done my way. And that is idolatrous. Don't have foreign gods, strange gods. Applies probably first and foremost to the God within, that of the ego. So anger is a challenging and problematic emotion, but it's not one that we can't attend to, because you get angry when a boundary hasn't been observed. And if you don't allow yourself to hold that, to create a holding space, to be the container, the inner parent for your own experience, well, one of two things will happen. You're going to be abused, or you'll abuse others. You know, the Rebbe has a beautiful teaching which says if you're close when you should be far, you will be far when you should be close. That's referring to the laws that govern intimacy in married life between a husband and wife. The Talmud says if you're kind to the cruel, you'll be cruel to the kind. I think that so much in our world today has to do with kindness is the only way, boundaries are out, they're bad, judgment is bad. You have to be making judgments. If you're not making judgments, then you can't say that something is inappropriate and you can't protect yourself. When you feel anger, just try and sit with that. I'm not saying live that throughout the day. Mindfully set an appointment with the shadow feeling at night before you go to bed. That's the best time on a daily basis. Think about it. Or in the moment, try and be compassionate to that part of you that needs some attention, because the anger is like a sign. It's telling you something here is wrong. Something needs fixing. And when we do that and we can compassionately become quiet to that feeling inside of us, then we can find the feeling that is underneath this. In Kabbalah, we're taught Einam tokas hagvurus ela b'shorshen. There's no sweetening of severities other than in their source. And Tikkun Olam, the rectification of the world, requires that we sweeten severities. You can't sweeten them if you don't settle there, if you're always in flight from your own shadows. Anyway, those are just a couple of ideas. I'm going to turn this around so that you can see these gorgeous blooms on my walk. Isn't that just wonderful? Thanks for joining me, everyone, and I bless you that spring should spring in your life, in all of our lives. We should see new growth, not going back to the way things were, but going back and forward, coming to a new place, sending you love and blessings today and always, and the sweetening of all severities in your life. Bye.